Yo, what's up YouTube? This is Doug Jenkins. Gonna do a video that's been highly needed on my site. What I'm gonna do is a screen capture here to show you what goes into a mixing job, why it's not 150 bucks. I think, you know, first I want to thank every last person that's ever even looked at my YouTube channel or even, you know, reached out to want to do work with me, whatever. And what happens though is a lot of times I'll get into mastering, and when I get into the mastering, I'll start to realize that there's things in the song, and we're live. No, there's things in the song that just aren't, they're just not mixed, you know, and I'll get into it, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Prime example of this, where, you know, guys will be like, hey man, I want it to be loud like so-and-so's album, or I want it to, you know, sound clean like so-and-so's album, or I want it to be punchy like so-and-so's album. And what we end up doing in this, and this is the biggest truth about this, and I want to give respect to the great mixing engineers. I've found myself doing a lot more mixes. I believe full-heartedly, God-given, I'm more of a mastering guy, but a mastering guy can mix a song. And what's cool about the way I mix, I'm going to go through it real quick. When I mix tracks, we have a studio set up to master albums. So, and I'll say this with confidence, I think I'm one of the most affordable engineers to get the results. When somebody pays you like $900 to mix a song, you better believe in my mind that that's a fair price. I live in Ohio. You can inflate that about twice that in New York. So $1,800 give or take. Now, do a lot of people have $900 to $1,800? No. Why I'm saying this? Professional labels, that's bar money. It's stupid. But when you want to get into a real mix, and why does it cost that? We're not just sitting here turning volume up and down, guys. I think the #1 deception you got to get out of your head is that guys just, you're paying a guy $900 just to sit here and tweak volumes. What we're going to do is actually make a game plan. If you can see, this color here is auxiliary to a certain instrument group. This is the drum bus. And the only way I can explain what I'm talking about and why it costs what it costs, or why you'd even pay that to somebody, is if I hit the kick drum here. I actually got it sounding a lot better. But watch when I take this off. You know what it sounds like? Listen to that. That's ridiculous. So that's the first thing that I had to do just to get it here. And that took like 40 minutes. Don't take it like I'm crying about it, I'm just telling you the truth here. So that drum kit, when he sent that off for mastering, what I ended up doing in mastering was I ended up overcompensating for the lows and the mids and the kicks and all that good stuff because of the mix. When you don't mix your song, you end up getting back a very loud master, but it's still going to have some mud, because I can't take care of all that mud. I mean, unless I'm in the mix like we are now. But here's the problem that he's going to face. He paid me $150 for alternative mastering, and now I'm going to be using, you know, this is going to be a $600 job. Now, if he wants to pay for it, then he can get this service. But it's really crazy how much, if you want to save the money and do it at home, really pay attention to EQ. This is a room EQ. This is the bus compressor, and we'll probably comp this out and use the real thing when we get up there. I gotta make a note of that. Use real thing. And then we're sitting in here, maybe gonna do a different EQ once the real thing comes to play. The real thing compared to the plug-in, I got a 10-to-1, an auto release, a 30 attack, and I just liked what it did to the drums. What I'll do is mimic that with the actual real bus compressor. Next we have instrument groups. Now, I'm not going to play his vocals because that wouldn't be fair to him. I just don't like doing that to people, because some people get picky about that. That's why I don't do too many samples on the internet, by the way. Because all my great samples, guys don't want me turning out. So I've already done EQ on this. And I did it with the stock Pro Tools plugin. Don't ask me why. It just sounded better for some reason. I don't know. I never used this. So what we'll do, figure out what we're trying to do. That thing's muffled. Need a little sharpness. That horn sounds horrible. Better. I don't think this thing needs to be here. So on this sound, let me take a break here, but it seems like sometimes like a sound the guy puts in because it just got a little different frequency response. So maybe I'll just shelf it right there and just let it be really tiny because it's not doing anything. It's not like a guitar part or a piano part, it's just a synth. See what it does. Sounds cool to me. See where the drums are sitting with all this. Now what we'll do here, since here's just a great lesson in general for anybody out there. And I'm sorry I just sort of went on a tangent, but I think people like that kind of video. What we'll have here is, and I'm just using this Q10 that we got. I've had these since I got out of school. I got a copy of them, and they're great plugins. I mean, I would highly recommend anybody get them. Like, buy them too, please. I remember when I was at school the first time I was like, started using these waves, and then I registered with a guy. At the time, it's a lot of money, you know, so we went in like almost like a partnership when we got out of school, and I bought the plugins, and I've used like the same ones, and then got an upgrade, and they're expensive. I mean, but Waves has done a great job of making it more affordable for people, and you know, it is what it is. So anyways, let me see here. Alright, so what I want to do here is, okay, I like my drum kit, so how do I EQ the drums and then the instrumentation? There's like 9 synth parts here. It's just a bunch of synth. So, I mean, super engineer is going to have to make this sound like a Grammy. Now you can't just mix this without this. So what I was listening for there was just clarity, definition, things I can do to make those parts sound relative together, and then bring it back in. First thing that I hear clashing is the hi-hats. So one thing I want to do is solo the hi-hat. I don't want to solo them, I just want to EQ them. hip hop, it's not really about a nice shiny hi-hat. It's almost like a just an effect, something to fill in some of the bad parts of the vocal. Honestly, like where guys, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you're like, did this guy just lose his mind? I like the hi-hat. Notice something on the clap too. Need a shelf roll off. It's almost like a And here's another thing, this snare drum, I would duplicate it and pitch shift it down, because it's not, what we're saying here is in professional mixing, man, I can sit here and make a track, but this is what you get for 900 bucks. You know, you don't, I think guys want me to do the holy grail, and we haven't even got into quantizing or editing or any of this stuff. This is why it costs this, and I wish I could do it to every freaking track that I get, but unfortunately, I'm going to undo this because I just made them all elastic. In your groups, I'm going to take off the group before I do that, by the way. Make this rhythmic. I'm going to use properties and pitch shift this down one. Still processing it. I don't want to take away from the low end, I just want to complement it. There it is. So -4 semitone, I mean just like literally pitch shifting that to make it even. Now watch how it sits with the bottom. That thing's overused way too much. This. So what do we want to do to that, you know? It's just crazy. This is overused big time. I think it'd almost be beneficial to not have it in there, but because it's not that good. But anyways, and it's just the same thing over and over again. So you got like this little feel going on now. It's like the gate's grabbing it right when they kick the snare. So it gives it like a back and forth motion. So I'm happy with that. This is what it is, guys. I can't stress this enough. I mean, I'm just getting into this. This is 45 minutes I've been doing this, and this is where we're at. This is a serious process. What we haven't done is the hooks any of the vocals, and like I said, it would be fair to him not play that because they're a little rough. I mean, to be quite honest. They weren't captured with, you know, a U87 and an Avalon. They were, or a Neve 1073 or a 6176. They were probably captured with a an M-Box. And then I'm gonna clean this up and get this, you know, get this entire track sounding right. So what I really need to focus on, and I'm gonna end this video for a second and show you something else pretty cool. But I need to focus on these. I need to focus on this big time. Because there's a lot of mud here, but I also need to focus on this to get the drums right. So watch what happens when I just clean those drums up. That's one more thing. Gates are powerful tools, guys. If you're, especially if you're doing a hip hop track.
Said this is our year. Yeah, this is our year. This is our year. This is our year. Tell him, boy.
Oh yeah, we coming up. Oh yeah, we